Hey guys, this is going to be a comparison between the 2017 FZ09 MT09 stock seat and the optional Yamaha comfort seat. Now, I'll start this off by saying I want this to kind of be a buying guide and a decision-making guide if you are interested in upgrading from the stock seat. If you've got one of these, you already know that it's not working for you and thus you're looking for another seat. But just for anybody that wants the information, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of both. Neither one is perfect. It's really going to come down to your specific inseam and weight if the comfort seat is going to work for you. I'm 6'2" with a 32-inch inseam, so I've got a tall torso, pretty average for my inseam, but I'm 250 pounds, so I do tax a seat, that is for sure. My initial plan was to do the entire 600-mile break-in on this bike, which is brand new, on the stock seat, but I only made it for a tank before I was getting hot spots right about here. If you look at the seat, you would think it's got a nice wide support, but unfortunately it only has one layer of foam and it's pretty darn squishy, and pretty much these last few inches may as well not even be there. All of my weight is supported right here in the center section, and it just bothers me after a while. Now this does have the nice new contour for 2017, so it's a flatter riding position. You're no longer slammed into the tank. When I'm standing up, I do have plenty of clearance here. This stock seat is absolutely wonderful with your legs down. It's very narrow, and a lot of people are able to flat foot easily on this bike, even though it's quite tall. Now, the one thing that is kind of weird about this is until you get up to about 20 or 25 miles an hour, you still have a slight forward lean in the seat, but after that, just moderate speeds, it goes to a nice, flat, neutral riding position. I really do dig it. And for shorter jaunts, I have no problem with this. Obviously, it's a flat deck design, nothing special for the passenger whatsoever. They really have no amenities back here and certainly no great comfort, although it is great for maybe strapping a soft saddlebag over. Now, comparing this to the comfort seat, you immediately notice it's a completely different design and quite a taller padding. Obviously, it's more comfortable. It has a ton of more padding and it has a gel layer inside it. And note, this is the 2017 comfort seat. They had a prior version that's a completely different design. And I also see reports that this will directly bolt on to the older FZ09 MT09. So this is an option if you're looking to upgrade even the prior version. This has the same new sculpted contour, so you're still not slammed into the seat. It's still nice and neutral. Again, just above moderate speeds. Note some very important changes. Obviously, if you have a passenger, this is going to be a huge upgrade for them. You're adding, about 2 or 3 inches worth of gel and padding and foam, and it's quite a remarkable difference. The other huge thing, which I absolutely love, I don't carry passengers on this, this is just a fun bike for me alone, is this backstop here. It is absolutely perfectly sculpted. It's not too tall, it's not going into the middle of my back, it has a slight backward cant. It just keeps me planted absolutely perfectly. I usually sit right up against it, and that gives me a good few inches away from the tank. Of course, you can scoot up further if you're really going through the twisties and hug that tank, no problem, and then you're left with a nice gap back here. The other difference is the material. The stock seat is almost like a rubber. It is quite sticky and grippy. Too much so for me riding in jeans. It grabs my jean materials, and I find myself having to get up and reposition just because it's uncomfortable on my legs. This is much less so. It looks like a fine suede leather, but it's vinyl, and it has just the right amount of grip. It's not slippery whatsoever, but it's not going to tear into your materials. The foam is very comfortable. It really is. I don't know if it's an all-day comfortable thing because, frankly, I've never gone all day on this bike. I never plan to. That's what my touring bike is for. But it's certainly at least a full tank seat with zero discomfort, no hot spots whatsoever. This foam and gel material is firm all the way to the edges. So you really do have this nice, wide, flat platform to completely support you. It does a fine job on the road. Now here's the big con with this. It is significantly wider down at the tank. So when you put your feet down, it eats up not only height because of the extra foam, but height off the ground because of the extra width. I am right at the cusp. With the stock seat, I have about an inch and a half of clearance standing up on the bike at a stop. I can still flat foot on this, but I'm right at the limit. This foam right here digs into my inner thighs. It's not that comfortable putting my legs down with a 32-inch inseam. Just note that. Ideally, and I still might have somebody do it, this would be sculpted out a bit, more like the stock seat, just in here, just 3 or 4 inches wide, right here. That would be ideal because you're not touching this at all when you're actually riding. Your legs are up. From here back, this is where you're sitting. So this here, I mean, it looks great, but it doesn't function very well for putting your legs down. So just be aware of that. If you are shorter than a 32-inch inseam, you may not be able to flat foot on this particular seat. Now I know there are a bunch of aftermarket seat designs. I don't know how they compare width-wise or height-wise up in the front here, but that's something to note. So if you have significant clearance on the stock seat like I do, this is probably still going to work for you. It just might be a little uncomfortable. If you're shorter than a 32-inch inseam, this may be the tipping point for a no-go. It's really up to you. But overall, quality-wise, this is fantastic. It's a great bargain. It's a little over $200. The fit and finish is miles above the stock seat. The stitching is top-notch. It really looks like they had a third-party manufacture this because it's even above and beyond most of the other Yamaha comfort seats I've seen that are optional for other models. The material is soft and supple. It's just flawless. Really is. And of course you have the nice embossing here. If you're in the US like me, it'll say FZ09. If you're otherwise, it'll say MT09. That's it. Hope this helps somebody if you're looking at this seat. I just wanted to really be a buying guide because, hey, nobody likes wasting money and these aren't that cheap. So there you go. Stay tuned for more vids. We'll see you next time.